Hello, and welcome to Rimworld. This is kind of a how-to. Now, many of you won't need this, but for those of you who do, let's have some fun. I am running some mods. Here they are. None of them really add too much to the game, save for the wall light. Everything else is just a lot of quality of life stuff. Rimworld, at its core, is a story-building game. Oh, let's go reload anytime, just in casesies. Ocean works. And in so playing, we want to be building a story. I think that settling somewhere with mountains in a temperate zone would be the best idea. So like a temperate forest here with a little bit of rocks sounds like a great idea. Although I really do love river and road starts. So let's see if we can't find somewhere on a road with a river and mountains. That's kind of like the dream for me. It doesn't look like that's going to be easily done, but what I can still do is just branch off this river here and follow it down to maybe there. Let's not really worry with an ideology, as this is kind of a beginner game. Now, we want our starting colonists to be fairly well-rounded. So, like Nico Knight LaCroix, good construction, great mining, good social. I like him. We're going to keep him even though, well, he's always happy. He's slow, which I don't love, and he's psychically dull, which I don't really care. Flossie Lucky McGrath is also good at mining, but has asthma. And I'm just going to stop looking at her there because asthma is too bad, and I don't want it. Konstantin is like not really good at anything, so we'll throw him out. Bosurgi, great with plants, great crafter, decent social. He's abrasive, so that's not great. Reclusive, he's happy being alone, and he's a good shooter. He's a careful shot, but terrible at shooting. Knight's good at melee, but I like Bosurgi. He'll be able to plant crops for us. And then we already have someone who kind of fills this niche, so we'll drop you out. Guillermo, great at shooting, misogynist, less great. How about Ratton? Has cancer, don't love that. And Sarai, you're not really what I'm looking for either, so let's go ahead and randomize you until we find someone we like more. Medical could be very helpful, so we have a doctor. No cooking. Do I have a cook? Not really, so let's randomize a cook, a miner, decent at animals and craftings, and a decent shot. We'll allow Katie Soldink to join us. We won't. She is incapable of dumb labor, meaning she won't haul and she won't clean, and that is terrible for us. I just want someone who's decent at violence. Uh, you're good at melee, which I guess works. We don't really have a doctor, but that is good enough for me. Let's jump on in. You wake in cryo sleep, yada yada yada, and let us begin. We'll wait for the pods to open, immediately pause the game and go into Architect. Orders, we want the allow selection, or we could just do the allow everything button, but the allow selection, we just make a big old highlight, boop, and everything is allowed. We'll try not to worry about those bugs. Next up, Jerbear. Oh my god, I didn't even realize that was his name. Jerbear is good at melee, so we'll have him pick up the knife. Bosurgi kind of sucks at everything, so we'll have him pick up the revolver. And Knight is decent with shooting, so we'll give him that. Jerbear, we'll also have you wear the flak vest. Oh, we got a sun lamp. Wild. We'll also give Jerbear the flak pants and the flak helmet, because I feel like he's going to be at the crossfire a lot. So we'll play, let everyone pick up their weapons, and for Jerbear, his armor. And while we're doing that, let's find an area to set up home. Now, if these insects weren't in this cave, I'd say this is like a pretty decent spot, but they are. So either one of these ruins could work. For now, this one's going to be a lot easier to adapt. So we're pausing the game, going to structure, wall, and we're just going to build out of wood as we already have some on the ground. Steel is too valuable to be using for something like this. And there we have it. Our temporary base is set up. We'll now go to, not production, but furniture, and grab some beds for inside here. Good enough. This won't be forever. This is only like a temporary living space, but we need a temporary living space just for now. We'll put a butcher spot outside, fueled stove right inside, and we'll make this in here a stockpile zone for all of our goodies. With that done, we can just speed up the game and let them get to work. Looks like Knight got into some trouble with the local bugs. So let's go ahead and draft everyone and align them here, sending Jerbear in with his knife to go and beat him up. We did give Jerbear the knife, right? Jerbear? Jerbear, what are you doing? And it looks like through bad playing on my end, I have just gotten everyone killed. This is what happens when you let your colonists roam too close to dangerous animals, such as bugs. Oh. And that's a rip and pep. But because everyone got lost, we did get a man in black who is, amazing at shooting, who will hopefully come and save our lives. Oh, don't go after Anguish the Kitty. They're going after Anguish the Kitty. That is very rough. Luckily, our man in black is here and may be able to help save our lives. God, he's a good shot. But now that he's in melee, that might not matter. Yeah, and he's down too. Everyone's down, wounded, and bleeding. This was not the best example. So, as you do in Rimworld, we're going to start a new save. So I'll see y'all in that one. And we're back now on a new map. So Rimworld, all about trial and error. You're going to die a lot. You're going to have to start saves over. You might have to reload a lot. And you know what? All in all, that is okay. Operating tables. Creepy. But a lot of components here, which is nice. We'll be needing those later. So, as usual, let's go to our orders, allow selection, highlight everything we can see, and start assigning some weapons. So Beryl sucks at everything, combat related. She's really good with plants and animals though, and a decent miner. Eddie, amazing melee. So we're going to have him pick up the plasteel knife, hold down shift, and have him wear the helmet, the pants, and the vest. Now by holding shift, that's how you queue orders. And Hester is a good shot and loves to shoot, so we're going to give her the rifle. Beryl, in the meantime, you can just get the revolver. Sorry, I didn't mean to sound so disappointed in you, Beryl. It's really not your fault. Now, let us do some orders here. We want to not cut plants, but chop wood in our surrounding area, just so we have a bit of that. Now we'll go over to structure, wooden wall, and place some walls down to turn this little rundown building into a home. We will be making our own homes here in the near future, but until then, this one will suffice. And while I'm thinking about it, let's also get a stockpile zone just right in here, and maybe in this corner as well. Another good thing to do immediately as soon as you land is start up a growing zone. I see some good fertile land here. So we're going to make a huge plot of rice. And in fact, let's actually cut this rice in half and make a new zone here it's going to be potatoes, just so we have a little bit of food variety. Rice grows quick, potatoes grow kind of slower. I forgot to put a wall here. Up. Let us also pause the game while I'm thinking about it and set down some beds. We can put down an end table for each of them just to boost their mood when they're sleeping. And I believe one dresser can support, is it 2 or 3 beds? I don't remember, but we're just going to put one right there, so hopefully it connects to all of them. This should help their moods. We'll also slap down a torch in there, and maybe one in here. They got that all roofed in. Now it looks like they're working on the dresser and beds. Well, Hester is anyway. Which brings me to my next thought. Let's go to the work tab and turn on manual priorities. The lighter boxes mean people have higher skills in that area, so you want to give people with high skills their preferred jobs. People with low skills or no skills, you ideally want to keep them out of it, but sometimes you kind of got to have everyone pitch in. Luckily, everyone's a decent constructor. Firefighting is a top priority. Doctoring, very important for your doctor to do that as soon as they can. And patient we'll put at, we'll leave it at 3 for now. We'll maybe bump that up if they get themselves into more trouble. It looks like they're out of wood and just milling about. Nope, they have wood. Why are you just milling about, guys? Hester, what are you doing? Wandering. But you have beds to build. And you're all in construction. Why? Barrels planting? Let's go ahead and look at their schedule. They have got anything right now. What we want to do is assign them specific times to work. So like recreation, you can put that just before, just after they wake up and just before bed. What I like to do ideally though, is leave a gap here and get them straight to work. So they have anything an hour after, an hour before going to bed, which means they can spend that however they choose, sleeping, recreation, etc. Then they have a block of 4 hours where they must work, 5 hours in the evening time, and we slot in a little bit of recreation just after their first shift and just before their second shift, with a bit more work in the middle. Everyone's just gone to sleep on the floor because obviously we don't have beds built yet, which isn't ideal. So we'll go ahead and try to fix that. I noticed that Bullet is just sleeping outside too, which is rather dangerous. So let's find ourselves the animal sleeping spot. There we are. And let Bullet sleep right there. Now, we have ourselves a little barrack set up and a bit of a stockpile, but we're going to need more than just this. So let's go back to structure. Actually, let's have them deconstruct these fences. Go back to structure and have them build a little wing onto here. This is going to be a bit of a kitchen, a bit of a workshop. Why is no one building these beds? I am very confused. Hester, you're missing wood, but you're not missing wood. It's right there. Let's delete that stockpile zone for now. Barrel's gone on an insulting spree because her mood is very low, which is unfortunate. Hester really doesn't have anything to do because she refuses to acknowledge this wood because I built her into a box and there's no door to get out of here. Okay, well, now I understand why Hester was just milling about and not getting anything done. Eddie, why don't you prioritize working on that door for now? Just try to ignore Beryl. Yeah, she's insulting you, but it's really not her fault. She just has terrible moods. Badly malnourished, because all the food was locked into here. No wonder everyone is so upset. Okay, barracks completed. Let's pop down a torch in here. Go to production. We want a butcher's table. We'll need a fueled stove. Now I'm starting to think maybe we actually want to move this over here, deconstruct that one, and turn this into a kitchen with an attached freezer. Not like that. Like that. We'll cancel that. Build a wooden door to get into the freezer there. Now, in order to keep people from getting food poisoning, it's a good idea to have a clean surface to work on, such as wooden floors. This will also help your items keep from degrading. If they're on floors, that is. Looks like they'll also need a place to eat. So let's go back into furniture. We want a table, 1x2 table, ideally made out of, oh, are we out of wood again? We are out of wood again. So let's tell them to chop some wood. Again, we ideally want to chop near base, that way they're not running across the map for this. And there is a grizzly bear just chilling here, which is dangerous, but hopefully it won't be too bad. See, you're in serious pain. Why are you in pain? From the malnutrition and bite scars, probably. Awful barracks, don't have a table. Yeah. Yep, okay. I can understand why you'd be upset about that. Luckily, they do have catharsis. Let's go back to their needs. Which means they had a mental break recently, and because of that, they're feeling much better. I'm going to set the butcher table to butcher creatures, doing it forever. We want to make a new stockpile zone in here, but now we want to go into storage. We'll pause the game while we do this and clear everything. Tell them to allow foods, that's fine. And raw resources, plant matter, these are fine to keep in there. I believe the food should keep, yeah, raw food, everything there. And we'll just go ahead and prioritize that as critical, just to make sure all the food stays in the freezer. Granted, it's not a very cold freezer because we don't have any refrigeration, but we can fix that here with a cooler. And because we're building a cooler, which needs electricity, we'll go down into power here and construct ourselves a wind turbine. One of these might do for now, but I'll go ahead and build a second one here just in case. Now, trees are going to get in the way of wind turbines, making them less effective and produce less power. I also almost forgot we need power conduits so that that power actually goes into the system and this cooler can actually start to cool things down. Let's turn it down to -2 Fahrenheit. I am an American, obviously, so Fahrenheit is what I use. Looks like we got some visitors here. They're just gonna hang around for a little bit, not doing too much. And it looks like we can use a battery. So, with that in mind, we don't have any... We're not able to make a battery, so we need a research bench to do that. And I think a good area for a research bench will be right in here. If we expand this room out, this can finally be our little workshop that we were talking about. And we'll go ahead and throw some floors on it as well. Try to floor up most of this dirt. You can kind of see it just around the edge of the bed there. Everyone is very effective in their crafting. Sure, they're botching some stuff, but they get it done like a dream. And let's get some more flooring down here. Eddie, some minor break risk. I'm certain he'll just be more chipper here in a bit when we get everything settled. So we'll go back into production, find ourselves a simple research bench, and plonk that down. Anywhere really, it doesn't matter. We're also going to need a stonecutter's table. And I guess we can put that right there. We have our stove, we have our butcher's table. Let's actually put a bill on the stove to make simple meals. And we'll do that until we have, mm, call it 20, and then pause when it's at 20, and when it hits, let's say 10, we'll unpause it and have them start cooking again. And already, just kind of off the bat, we have ourselves a decent start to the colony. We have power, we have a freezer, we have a kitchen, a barracks, and a little workroom. We do want a storeroom so that these aren't making it uglier in here. And to that end, I think I'll just expand this out, keeping our cubist roots. Put on a door, put on a door, and then get some floors in here. Wooden floors, of course, as wood is the most abundant resource we have at the moment, and stone cutting is going to take a bit. And just to make sure they have enough, we'll designate more wood to be chopped. These here, we'll tell them to haul it urgently. That is one of our mods. And take it to a dumping stockpile zone, which we'll just put right there. And we'll make sure that this has chunks on. Now there is a mad gazelle. We'll jump to location, and it's going to attack everyone it sees, including Beryl, our very terrible shot. So Beryl, I'd like to draft you and just get you the heck out of here. Eddie, I'd like to draft you, and where is your knife, sir? You were supposed to have a knife, but I see that you don't have a knife, and it doesn't appear to be in our stockpile zone. Regardless, we'll put you there and put you behind him. Hopefully Beryl can get herself inside before the gazelle attacks. She cannot, so we'll send Beryl and Eddie to start beating this thing up while Hester fires upon it at range. We will undraft everyone, unforbid this corpse, because we do want someone to butcher that. And in fact, Eddie, what are you doing right now? Resting? Nah. Instead, butcher up that gazelle. I do see that you have a major break risk from all the insults, but those are going to start expiring in about 5 hours. Now you can go rest. Let's look at your health. You got a bruise, some scratches. Y'all will be fine. Luckily, we have enough survival meals for the meanwhile. And instead of making this a stockpile room like I was originally going to, let me follow my own advice and get them a table, as tables are kind of one of the most important buildings in the game. I know that sounds kind of wild to think about, but eating without a table debuff is honestly a killer for any colony. For no particular reason, I want a big old table with 3 chairs around it, just because it makes me happy. And we're in 3 times speed. Let's go ahead and choose ourselves some research. And I want to get batteries first. Eddie, what are you doing? Going for a walk? Are you our night owl? Nope, just nimble, ugly, and a careful shot. Well, that's fine by me. You spend your free time however you want. Okay, it is morning. It looks like our colony has awoken. Look at everyone getting up to stuff. They should probably get a torch in here just so they can see a bit. But actually, let me cancel that torch and let's deconstruct these ones, as they're just going to make things hot. We do have power right now, so let's go ahead and get some wall lights in here. Wall light is another mod, but it is arguably my favorite of any mod that I have ever used. Granted, it does just add a light that you can put on the wall, and that doesn't seem like a big thing, but not having floor space taken up by torches is incredibly helpful. And because of that, we actually need power conduits to power up all of these lights. There we go, we've made a nice big old circuit with some tendrils running in the center just to power on those lights. You don't have to have power conduits directly on top of things you want powered. They will like wire to them once they are close enough. Um, we'll call our faction the New Gals on the Block. If I can spell it all. And the settlement will be named Newland. And it looks like we are out of steel. Luckily, we have some in this wall here. So we're going to go ahead, go to orders, mine, and order them to mine out this big chunk of steel. And while I'm thinking about mining, let's actually take this out a little bit too, as I think I want our new storeroom to take up this space. I will shrink this zone down a little bit. Move these two to where they ought to go. Move these three to where they ought to go. And huzzah, we have light. I wasn't actually expecting them to prioritize mining this before that. But I guess it's my own damn fault for not thinking ahead. But since they're already so close to done, we'll just leave them to it. It's nighttime, so they'll be going to sleep soon, and then we'll see you on the next day. Good morning, colonists. And hello, visitors. Or travelers. They're just moving on through. I don't know why they're not taking the perfectly nice road that's built for them. But to each their own, I suppose. Beryl is already harvesting our first rice crop. Told you it grows fast. And Hester is working on that steel, which means we've gotten all of our, well, we've gotten most of our steel done, or power conduits done. There we are. And now that we have the space for a storage room, let's go ahead and make that up. I'm going to pause the game right quick. Looks like that is still slated to mine. Heh. We'll put in a door there just for ease of access. We'll put in a door right here and another one there. I like to have doors on many areas, like many walls of a room, just so there's multiple entry and exit points. Granted, for places like the kitchen and freezer, one wall does suffice, or one door does suffice. Same with the barracks. But for more central rooms like this, I'd rather have many walls, so even if we expand outwards, these rooms are segregated. We do have a waster group moving by, but first let me get back to these rooms. The reason I want these rooms to be separate, if we turn on the room tooltip here, it'll tell us what kind of room this is. So this is a dining room, this is a laboratory, a barracks, and a kitchen. Now, if these were all just one big room, then it would all be prioritized as, I think, a barracks or maybe a laboratory, instead of having separate stats for each room. We'll go ahead and unpause. The filth wasters will prepare for a while and then attack. Looks like it's just one bowman. She has a knife, which is good because somehow Eddie managed to lose our only knife, which she kind of needed. And while we're waiting for them to start their raid, I think we'll... Eddie, what is your bio? You got a 1 in shooting. Beryl, you got a none in shooting. So why don't you drop your revolver? I'll have Eddie, who has only a 1 in shooting, equip the revolver. Perfect. We'll let them carry on about their day. And the second bowman is going to attack. We're going to send them up to this nice little choke point here. Also, more components. That's great. And more steel. Also great. We'll speed up time for a bit while Bowman hangs around. And with that, the wasters are beginning their assault. So, I want Eddie drafted. I want him right here. I want Hester drafted. I want her right here. Eddie is actually a lady. We are all ladies. So I want the fight gals to come up. We got a nice headshot on Bowman. Shot out their left eye. And with that, they are dead. We can undraft our colonists. and unforbid all these goodies. Eddie, I want you to prioritize hauling the steel knife, the smoke leaf, and also that medicine. We have our new stock room built. Let's go ahead and put some wooden flooring inside of it. We have a transport pod crash, which means we have the potential for a prisoner. So look at their bio. They're tough, artistic, crafting. They're actually a really terrible colonist. So, well, they're a teenager, so that means they could grow up to be decent, but we don't really care for them, so we're going to pretend like we never even saw them and not worry about their fate. I do want to delete this stockpile zone and remake it here in our new storage room. We'll also go ahead and plan some lights inside of it, just so our people can see what they're doing. Looks like the wind is slowing down, which means we are at a loss of power, which is no good. We desperately need a researcher, and Beryl, who's terrible at shooting, can do that. She can't haul her clean, which isn't the best, but that's all right. I'll set these guys on 2 for hauling and cleaning, just to kind of encourage them a little bit more. And actually, I would like medicine to be stored in here. So let's go to manufactured. Um, let's put all drugs in here and medicine, just because it seems like a better place for it, in my opinion. We've stuck Barrel on the research bench, so work for batteries is coming along nicely. Hunter's missing a ranged weapon. That's because Barrel doesn't have one. Our revolver is somewhere. Oh, Eddie still has the revolver. So go ahead and equip that knife. Beryl, you can pick up that revolver. Hester doesn't have anything to do, so we're going to just set her to mining out more steel. And while she's at it, she can grab these components. And, well, we got a bunch more steel right here, so might as well get to work, Hester. And I think on this note, I'm going to call it the end for episode 1. Thank you all very much for watching, lords, ladies, and undefined nobility betwixt, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Ciao!